So this is going to go against what pretty much everyone else teaches, but as someone who has been running their agency since the middle of 2019, I wanted to break down what I believe the best way for someone to go from 0 to 10K a month, because I know it can be super frustrating if you've started, building an agency, whatever service that may be, and you're doing the outreach, sending the cold emails, sending the cold DMs, you're trying to get people on sales calls. Maybe you've taken a few sales calls. You may sign a client, but then you lose the client. You sign a client, you lose a client. And before you know it, you're 4, 5, 6 months in. And by that time, you thought you would be, earning great money, 10K plus per month. But in reality, you're stuck dabbling around with, 1 to 2 clients. Where at the same time, you see fucking Jimmy, who is 16, started his agency yesterday, and he's already got like 5 clients. And you're looking around and you're just like, what am I doing wrong? And I think, there are those success stories that do make you feel like crap about your own situation and your own business. But I do feel like a lot of the time, most people are set up to fail when they join these agency programs, and they're told to be like, yeah, it's okay if you don't have any experience. You can just outsource the work to a contractor. All you need to do is focus on sales and just start sending cold emails and cold DMs to people. Because the reality is, if you have no experience, no competence, no proof, no credibility, number one, it's going to be hard to get a business to pay you for your service when you have no proof that what you do works. But number two, you're going to struggle to have belief in yourself because you don't even know if you can deliver for the clients. And that in itself is very difficult because you're not going to act with confidence or conviction. It's going to be easy to get demotivated when something doesn't go your way because you don't even have that belief in yourself. And if you don't have belief in yourself, then it's going to be hard to, number one, do the work, but number two, get someone else to believe in you. Which is why what I'm going to share in this video, I believe anyway, is the best way to get to that, the famed 10K per month mark. For some reason, everyone loves that number. So before you do anything, and this, before you do anything, before you do any outreach, before you even attempt to sign a client, what you want to do is you want to start developing your skill in your industry. So whatever service you wanted to offer, whether that be, Facebook advertising, copywriting, funnel building, video editing, a completely different service, and also understanding your niche that you feel like you want to go into. And you don't have to be super specific, I want to help beauty e-commerce businesses. But if you feel like you want to help e-commerce business, go and learn a bit about e-commerce. If you feel like you're going to help info products, go and learn a bit about them. Now, you don't have to be an expert at all, but you do need to gain some competence and get to understand the industry and, the problems they're experiencing and kind of what's just going on. Because you have some people who start a friggin' advertising agency and they're outreaching to clients saying, hey, I can help you scale Facebook ads. And they themselves have never even launched a campaign before. And again, you don't have to go and launch a campaign and spend millions of dollars. You don't even have to spend any money at all. But you should understand how the ad manager works. You should have actually gone through that process to understand what it feels like and what it looks like. Again, you don't have to be an expert, but just gain a little bit of competence so you actually understand what's going on in the industry. And you can do this very quickly, by the way. And it could involve just studying YouTube videos, speaking to someone in the industry, or buying a course if that's what you want to do as well. So number one is just to develop some competence and understanding of the industry. Then what you want to do then is build on the skill set in leverage vehicles. So for me, this is going to annoy some of you when I say this, or you'd be like, why the hell am I watching this video? But I honestly believe the best way to build any business, but even an agency business, is to go and work for someone full time. And I know you'd be like, oh, Sam, what are you talking about? You told me how to make the videos labeled how to make 10K a month with my agency, and you tell me to go and get a job. Yes, I am. I think over the long term, it's going to make your success so much easier. Because like I said, what most people do is they start their agency with no experience, no credibility, no proof, no competence. They fail miserably to sign a client because guess what? Businesses don't want to pay people money who don't have any experience. And if, you do manage to sign a client, great, good for you, but you're probably going to lose the client in 2 to 3 months' time when they realize you're not very good at your job. So for the majority of people, it's just like this constant hamster wheel of trying to sign a client, lose a client, trying to sign a client, lose a client. And it gets people stuck at like the 2 to 5K per month mark, or even the bigger agencies. I know people who are stuck at, 20 to 50K a month. And on the face of it, it's like, great, they're doing 20K per month, but the business is a friggin' mess. They're losing clients all the time. The retention's in the bin. They're constantly stressing about having to sign new clients. And for me, I just feel like that's a nightmare business. So if you can actually build your skill set up and actually be really good at service delivery, it's going to solve most of the agency business model problems that people experience. So I suggest getting a full-time job, or at the very least, starting strategic partnerships. So strategic partnerships is where you don't go and try and sign like an end client. So if I was going to go and help e-commerce businesses grow, whether that be through social media marketing, paid advertising, I wouldn't go and try and sign the e-commerce business as a client. I would approach multiple different agencies in the e-commerce space who work with e-commerce businesses, and I would say to them, hey, how about I come and work for you, even if it's on like a freelance basis. So you're technically still starting your own business, but you are effectively a team member of an agency. And I know, again, some people are going to be like, no, absolutely not. I'm not working for someone else. And your ego is getting in the way. But for me, this is the best thing that most people could do. And I can say it because I've done both. So 2018, I was a couple of years into building online businesses, and I was failing because guess what? Like, it's hard if you have no experience or no clue what you're doing. And I basically went and decided to go and get a job for someone. And I approached someone, I got a job with them, and I was basically on their sales team closing like high ticket packages for a coaching business. I was a setter, so I would outbound dial people. I had to do 150 dials a day. And then I would also do setting in the DM as well. So I was like a DM setter basically from their Facebook page and going into managed chat and basically messaging all the leads. And then after that, I went and worked for another coaching company where, again, I did sales for a lot of it. But then also I transitioned basically into their full-time marketer or their head marketer. And I did all the copy, all the Facebook ads, all the funnel building, absolutely everything, every piece of marketing for the company I was basically doing. And it was the most incredible experience. And that set me up to have very, I would say, quick success with my agency. Because number one, it gives you like real world experience that is just going to make you so much better than everyone else. So, for example, when you first sign a client for your agency, unless you can fucking pull something out your ass, your first few clients are going to be very bad clients. Most people will sign an e-commerce business doing like 20K a month in revenue, or they'll like help an online coach sell their info products, but like they've got like 10K followers. And the businesses that they're working with aren't very good. So you get a very small, like a restricted viewpoint of what it actually takes to build a successful business. And you're not really getting that much experience. Because let's be honest, if you're starting working with someone and you're an advertising agency and the budget is $1,000 a month, then what are you going to do with that? It's going to take you so long to actually gain experience of getting them, like of advertising and getting results. Like, you're going to waste your time. The same with like, if you are running like the back end ops for an info product company and you start working with a coach with like 10K followers and they've got about 2,000 people on their email list and they're getting like 100 story views a day on Instagram. Like, what are you going to do with that? You're not going to be able to get enough volume through your work for you to actually learn and get better and actually become really, really good. And you're also going to struggle to get results because it's not necessarily your fault, even though you probably aren't that good in the beginning. But even if you were the best copywriter in the world, if there's no leads coming in and no one actually reading your sales pages and reading the emails and getting on the email list, then it's all pretty much wasted. So you can go and work for a big company in your industry. And that's something I should have noted. When I say go and get a job, don't go get a job in recruitment. Go and get a job with a company in your industry. So like I said, I went and got 2 jobs with 2 coaching companies because I knew I wanted to work in like the info product coaching space. Because that is the best way to just learn incredibly quickly. Or like I said, at least strategic partnerships with agencies who, one day you probably want to replicate and build a very similar business. Another reason why is, as well, it allows you to test without risk. So this was like the best thing as a media buyer. If you can go and get a job, if you want to become like an advertising agency owner, or you just want to be like a freelance, media buyer or whatever it is, the best thing you can do is go and get a job working for someone else, because it allowed me to test without having any of the risk. So for example, like obviously if I really sucked at my job and I lost the company I was working for a load of money with my ads, yeah, obviously I would get fired and there's some risk there. But as long as you're not an idiot and you don't completely mess it up and you show that you're learning and growing and trying to get better and you're doing your best, then you're going to have some leeway in terms of like, if your campaigns don't work right away, that's okay. So I was able to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars on ads. And there was no risk for me because it wasn't my money. And it also wasn't like my client's money, where if I just, with clients, if you start working with them for the first time and you lose money in your first 2 months, they're probably going to fire you. Whereas a job, you get a little bit of leeway. Again, you can't be an idiot and lose all the money, but you get the point. So without losing or risking any of my own money, I was able to really learn the ins and outs of Facebook ads. What copy looks like, the sales funnel, budgets, just what type of ads work, campaign structures, testing loads of different stuff. Every single day I was learning for completely free, which was sick. And it allowed me to, if I was just working with Bob the Builder, trying to get, more roofing contracts, and his budget was £200 a month, like how much am I actually going to learn about Facebook advertising, spending that much money? Whereas if I just go into an already successful business who already have like a Facebook, like a marketing team, and I just go and learn from them, and I use their money who are used to spending big budgets, then I'm going to get better dramatically quickly. And that what leads me on to the next point, which is you're going to shortcut the learning curve. Like what I learned in those 12 months of being the full-time marketer, if I was just starting out my agency with little experience and I was signing these little clients that even them themselves, they didn't really know what they were doing, that would have took me probably 5 years of working with those clients to gain the same skill and experience that I did within 12 months of working for that company. And the best thing about all of this is I got paid to be frigging coached. Like most people, if you want to learn from if you want to learn, for example, how to run a business from an online business coach, you're going to pay like $10K for the coaching program. I got a salary from learning from them. So every single day, the guy who ran the company, well, both of the guys for the 2 companies I worked for, I was in the office with them every single day, learning from them, seeing how they managed the team, how they grew the company, how they did marketing, how they did branding, all the back-end operations of the business I saw day to day. So not only was I learning a ton about media buying and copywriting, which was the skill that I wanted to go into, I was learning about all the other different parts of business as well, which again, I learned some good things, I learned what not to do, and that gives you a such more rounded skill set for me to then grow my own company versus, again, working with some shitty company that doesn't even make money and me trying to, be the holy grail like advertiser who saves their company from, going bust. Like, you're not going to learn anything from doing that. Whereas if you can go and basically see the behind the scenes of a big successful company, you're going to, it's going to set you up for success in the future. So you also, like I said, you get paid to be mentored, basically. I was getting what people paid, people will pay like 10 grand to be on like a 1-hour group coaching call with someone, where I was spending 8 hours a day with the guy, learning from him, and he was paying me to be there, which was sick. So it's I feel like that is like the ultimate hack. And you don't have to do it forever. Like, you're not getting a full-time job forever. Like, I was very intentional with what I was doing. Like, I knew I was going to go and, I knew I was going to quit and be my own boss one day. With the first company, I only stayed for 3 months, which wasn't a long time. I mean, I didn't enjoy the job. It was like, again, I was a setter, so I was doing a lot of outbound calls. And I didn't love the sales part, but I knew it was a skill I needed to learn. And again, I got to see the ins and outs of like how he was growing his company. So I only did that for 3 months. And then I went to the other company and I was there for about 12 months. But I genuinely just really fucking liked my life at that point. And for the most part, my life was great. Towards the end, I got a little bit bored. I felt like I'd hit my ceiling of growth in terms of what I was learning. At that point, I was, the best marketer on the team. I was the one, no one else could really teach me more about like direct response, paid advertising. So that's why I left. But I actually had a great time anyway at that company. But you don't have to do it forever. So I did it, I did like 15 months probably. It was from like the April till like the August. And then in the middle of 2019, I went off and started my own company. And that's when you can start your journey to 10K. And I know you're like, oh, Sam, I want to do it a lot quicker than a year. But, I know some people who they've been fucking around with their agency and then still not making 10K per month, but they've been doing it for like 2 years. Or they'll get like shiny object syndrome and they'll just jump from like one opportunity to the next. And then 3 or 4 years in, they're still not making any money. Or they might build like a 20, 30K per month agency, but they don't have the skill set or the foundations to sustain it. So they'll come back crashing down. Like I was in mentorship like programs with people and, they would get on coaching calls and they're like, oh, last year I got my agency up to like 50K per month, but now we're down to 10K and everything's a mess. And I'm just like, how is that even possible? And it's because, yes, they probably signed a good few deals, signed a few clients, but they didn't know how to deliver for the clients. They didn't know how to retain the clients. Again, like for me, for our agency, we've been working with a couple of clients now for 3 years. Like no one else does that. And it's because not only do we get results in terms of the service that we provide, but we also just understand how to run a business as well. And that helps you retain clients longer. A lot of agencies can shoot up to like 50K per month for 1 month, but then everything breaks and everything falls down. So, okay, yes, there's like a learning curve of like 12 months if you want to go and do what I suggest, but it's going to fast track your success. And when you actually start your journey to 10K, you could do that, within a month. And that's not like me being like dramatic. If you put in the work, you can, and you'll see why in the video. So I've put here, the first point is 10 a day. So 10 a day is 10 outreaches a day. Now I know, again, some of you, and this goes against what a lot of people teach, hundreds of cold emails a day, hundreds of cold DMs, blah, blah, blah. I just think that's a real bad way to build a business. And again, unless you've got like incredible credibility proof, social proof, then just doing mass cold outreach, I don't personally think works very well. So what I did when I started was, and I did a video on this recently on the channel about my outreach strategy. I basically just stuck to 10 outreaches a day. My initial goal was like 90 days, but I'd stopped before 90 days because I'd already signed too many clients and I had to go and hire people. So if you could just commit to 10 personalized outreach messages a day and do that consistently for like even just 30 days, I guarantee like you'll be shocked at how well it works. For me, I had already signed, within 30 days, I signed my first client, and that client referred me clients. And, that first client that I signed was a really great, incredible client, and I still work with them, which is pretty nuts. So you don't have to do like hundreds or thousands of messages every single day to start signing a client. If you do what I did and have the experience beforehand, it's basically going to create an unfair advantage because the proof that you already have compared to the other beginner agency owners. So for example, what I did was when I left the last job that I had, essentially what I did was I went to all the competitors and I was just like, hey, this guy, your competitor? Well, I've just been working with him for the last 12 months. We achieved X, Y, and Z. How about I come and help you do the same? So it was actually really easy for me to get replies because I just focused on that niche and that industry. And people in that niche knew that guy's name. They'd seen him on social media. They'd probably, they see him as a competitor. They'd probably seen like their content online. And so it was like when I outreach to someone, instead of being like, hey, I can help you, add 20 high ticket clients per month, I'll be like, my outreach messages weren't crazy, like strategic, like psychological stuff. It was just, hey, this guy used to be his head marketer, worked for him for over 12 months, did, whatever, $10 million in sales with him. Started my own company, looking to work with a few coaches in this niche. I can probably help you do the same. I don't even know what the outreach message was, but it was something simple like that. It was just like, and instantly was getting replies because I had a familiar name and it showed that I was like a real person. And they were just like, well, this guy understands the business. He's been with one of our competitors. He knows stuff probably that's going to help us. He's got experience in this niche. He probably understands my customer, my business. It's worth even chatting to him. So like, fuck the fucking quick question subject line. And, I don't even know what they teach in these agency programs, but the outreach messages I get are really awful. They're so bad. Just copy and paste templates. Where for me, no strategic outreach or anything like that. No friggin' auto, email sender. It was just me and an Instagram account messaging them on Instagram being like, yo, used to work for this guy, helped him achieve this. Maybe I can do the same for you. Boom, instantly replied to me. Whereas you got all these people split testing, first lines and offers in the Instantly account, and it sucks and it doesn't get any replies. And I just sent 10 messages a day. People are there trying to send like 100 messages plus a day. And I'm like, I'm just going to do 10. And it worked. And I used to get replies all the time. So the proof that you have, that you've done in the previous part here, this is your unfair advantage. It allows you to basically just go and sign all the competitors of the person you used to work for. Now, you might say that's unethical and not right. I don't know. I was just going out building my business, and I'm still friends with the guy who I used to work for to this day. And he knows I work with all of his competitors still, and he's cool with it. So I don't know. That's just business at the end of the day. So the proof was my unfair advantage, and it allowed me to not really care about the outreach message or, the subject line and all that crap that people get hung up on and think that, this is, give me that cold email script. That's going to be the key that unlocks my agency's growth. No, it's not. It's having proof, credibility, and actually being good at what you do. If you can have those things, then it doesn't matter what your first line of your Instagram DM is. Trust me, because I've done it. And like I said, I had a niche focus. So just whatever niche your full-time job is in, or the people that you work for in your strategic partnerships, just focus on that and just go after all their competitors, and you'll be able to, and even if it's not something you want to do over the next 10 years, use it, because not many people have it when they're starting their agency journey. Most people just start from scratch with no experience, no proof, no credibility. So use it as your unfair advantage, and it'll get you in the door, and you can sign easily your first 5 clients in that niche. And then from there, you can kind of decide what you want to do. But at least then, if you sign your first 5 clients, you're going to be at that 10K per month mark. You've got a bit of breathing room, you've got money coming in, and then you can kind of decide what you want to do. And then finally as well, when you do get these clients, what I recommend, again, is not going trying to sign 20 clients in your first few months. Because again, most people with the agency, they go and sign as many clients as they can. They say yes to every deal, even if they're the wrong type of client. And then, again, they'll hit like a 20K per month or a 40K per month, and then the whole business fucking breaks down. They don't have the capacity to fulfill on the clients. The communication is poor. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the team members. The results for the clients drop. Everything's a mess. They're all left. They end up being stressed out. They hate the business. So then at the same time, like, they're getting messages from clients saying, hey, I want to leave. And at the same time, you're kind of grateful that they're leaving because you don't want to work with them anymore because you hate the business and you're so stressed. So it's like this weird fucking cycle of where, I'm actually happy that I'm losing money, and then your revenue drops, and then you're all depressed because your revenue's dropped. So I would be slow in the beginning, get a handful of clients, no more than 5, and have a case study focus. You've already got one good case study because you've gone and worked for someone for 12 months, and that's a great case study. So now if you can just get 1, 2, or 3 more incredible case studies in that niche, then you're just never going to struggle to get a client ever again. Because if you can go into a niche, whether that be, oh, I help traders sell their coaching and courses, or if you're in the fitness space, I help fitness people, or if you're in the e-commerce space for, I don't know, beauty brands, whatever it is, if you get like 3 or 4 solid case studies in one like niche within an industry, then you're literally golden. Like you're just never going to struggle to get clients, especially now where, all these brands and businesses, they're so tired of getting cold messaged and cold emails from fucking random 16-year-olds promising that they can build the business. Cold outreach is becoming less and less effective. So if you can just get those first few clients, focus on getting them results, then more and more businesses now are only doing deals with agencies who get referred by their friends. And that's just the reality of it. Like the biggest client that I have right now, he was referred to me and I outreached to him lots of times. And even with my proof and my unfair advantage, he just never even probably saw the messages. And he wasn't ever going to hire someone from like a cold DM. The only reason he hired us is because we got referred by basically his best friend. So I would not rely on the cold DMs as the way you're going to grow your agency, but I would get 3 or 4 great case studies in one niche, in one industry, and then you're just not going to struggle then to earn money ever again. And plus, again, focusing on getting the case study results is going to keep your clients happy. It's going to keep them for longer. You're going to get better at service delivery because you focus on service delivery, not just focus on getting new clients. And that in turn is going to be a snowball effect that improves the growth of the agency over the long term, increases your retention rate, and just makes you build a happier business, honestly. So at this point, again, you only need a handful of clients and you'll be over 10K per month. But what I would do at the same time now, as you're doing this, I would also do some documentation. So by documentation, I mean start an Instagram account, start like a YouTube account, or start like a Twitter account, and basically document you building the business, signing the clients, getting the results. Now, don't try and become a friggin' influencer and, start posting like 1 video a day or, trying to post like long form YouTube videos. Just do short, regular updates just about what you're doing, what you're learning, the results, even some failures. Because what this is going to do over time is build a inbound system. So like I mentioned, cold outreach, getting more and more competitive, more and more people are just ignoring every single message that they get. I mean, I have like hardly any followers and I am sick to death of the messages that I get. So some of my clients who have like millions of subscribers and millions of followers on different platforms, I can't even imagine what like a bloodbath their DMs are because it must be an absolute nightmare. So you want to build some form of brand for yourself because in the future, this is going to create inbound clients where people will see the proof that you've been building this business and you're successful and you're getting clients' results. And people are then going to message you and start asking you to become a client. It's also going to help you build referrals. So I have a very small, and at this point, if I'm being honest, a very unengaged Twitter following. And but even with that, like, I still get people who I've never even spoken to before. Like, people will refer me clients. So, for example, I'll have a client book in on my Calendly or something, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, James referred me to you. And I'm like, James? And he'll say, like, the full name. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's that guy from Twitter. Like, never spoken to him before. Like, I recognize his name, and I follow him, and he follows me, but I've never actually spoken to the guy before. And then I'm on the sales call, and I'm, like, having to pretend to the potential client, like, oh, yeah, we're good friends, when reality is I don't know who this kid is, but he's obviously just seen me documenting stuff on Facebook ads, client results, and, he wants to help either his client out or a potential client out or a friend out or whatever it is. And then he's referred me to them. So I'm like pretending, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, good guy, James. Yeah, I like James. Solid guy. Yeah. Never chatted to him before. So I'm just pretending to the client that we know each other. So it feels a bit less awkward, be a bit weird if I was like, oh, yeah, I've never spoken to that guy before. So obviously that wouldn't happen. So you get referrals as well, even if you don't, like, not even from your current clients, but just random strangers on the internet who I've never spoken to have referred me business before, which is pretty nuts. And again, already talked about the credibility. If you just document you building the business, getting the results, but don't go all like course guru-y and like only create content for other agency owners where you're just like, this is how you sign clients, blah, blah, blah. No. Document it as if you're trying to get clients for your agency, not a fucking agency course that you're going to try and build in a month's time, right? Don't do that. Focus on your actual end client for the agency, whatever niche or industry that is in, and document that way, because you'll still get other agency owners in your niche following you and listening to you anyway. But don't try and be like a course guru. And then again, just future opportunities. Like if you build your network, build your following, like just future friendships, because let's be real, entrepreneurship can be lonely as hell sometimes. And especially if you're like me, who wanted to move away from where I grew up, going and living in a completely new city, it's pretty daunting and can be pretty lonely. So, I've moved to a new city before a few years ago and connected, like I knew a guy from, the online world, ended up, living together, traveling to a few different countries together, still friends to this day. So even just like friendship opportunities, but not other than that, different business opportunities will come around. Even if it is not with your agency, different stuff will come just by you having a presence online. And I regret not doing it sooner. So I was like 2020, it was really the start of 2022 when I started creating like any online content. So I'd already been building my agency for, 2.5 years. And it just opened up a whole world for me. At that point, I had like a personal Instagram account, and on that Instagram account, I just had, friends, family, and people who I kind of grew up with. And that was it. I didn't use really any other social media. I didn't even at that point like watch YouTube or anything. So I had actually had a very like closed perception or viewpoint of like online business, because I wasn't networking with anyone. I wasn't even like following anyone. Like I hardly followed at that point any influencer or anything like that. Like I wasn't really, even though I was in the agency space and like the info coaching space, I wasn't really in it in terms of I didn't know who anyone was, didn't know what people were selling. So even just creating and being active on a social media account will make you see people, connect with people, just even watch other people and see what they're doing. And again, that can even fast track your success. But again, don't make it your full-time thing. Make it something you do on like a Friday afternoon or something like that. You don't want to really spend any time on creating the content. It doesn't need to be polished content. It doesn't need to be well thought out, strategic, well edited, nothing like that. Just do the very bare minimum just to document the process. And then, in the future, if you want to take it more seriously, you can. So that's what I would do. I feel like that is, and again, some of you will be like, oh, it's not the fastest way because you spent a year working for someone else. But yeah, but when you actually do go out and start your agency, it's going to be faster, easier, more fun, less stress, better clients. Like everything's just so much easier if you do it this way versus the regular way, which is, spend your whole life in Lemlist trying to sign clients, but the only clients that you work with are crappy clients that, even the client doesn't even know how to run a business. So you being the agency owner who's never run a business, that's just an agency owner who doesn't know how to run a business working with a client who doesn't know how to run a business. Yeah, not going to work, is it? All right, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.